İsveç Yeşil Binalar Konseyi kurucu CEO'su Sayın Bengt Wranggren'in sunumunu yapması için sahneye davet ediyorum. Bengt.
Thank you very much, Döge. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bengt Wranggren, and it's a very big pleasure for me to do this presentation here today. Thank you very much for inviting me to Turkey and to your international conference. I have been asked to tell you about Sweden and about the technically advanced things we do to make an example of what can be done. We have in Sweden very high energy performance of buildings. We are good at avoiding hazardous chemicals in building materials, and we have low carbon emissions. And certification systems are supporting this more and more now in Sweden since we have been using them, using them. So I will tell you about the Sweden Green Building Council and the strong force we are in promoting green in Sweden. I think you all know that Sweden is a very cold country. Even though today I live in Stockholm, we have +2 degrees and the snow is melting, but we have lots of snow still. And in the north of Sweden there are so much snow. So we have lots and lots of insulation materials in the walls. I can, as shown on the picture at the left, the yellow things in the walls and in the ceilings is insulation materials. It's this thick, and the U value of such a wall is about 0.1, which is I think a lot more than you normally use in Turkey. The windows are triple glazed. They have gas between the panes, and they are coated with low emissivity coatings to reduce transmission of energy. So this is normal practice in Sweden. And the codes are very strict, so we cannot make buildings that use more than 90 kilowatt hours a square meter a year for heating, cooling, hot water, and domestic electricity. Another thing which is have been going on for a long time in Sweden is avoiding hazardous chemicals. And we have been trying to reach out to the building materials industry to stop using these kind of chemicals, and it has been very hard to get declarations from them and to get them to avoid these materials. But with the help of sustainable certification systems like BREEAM and like Miljöbyggnad, which is a Swedish version of a special system we have, we now can demand the building material industry to take away the hazardous chemicals. And as you can see, we have also developed, or we're developing, a BREEAM Sweden version, which is focusing on chemicals as well. The third thing I want to show you is about climate performance of Sweden. This slide shows on top the transports, which of course still are very fossil dependent. Sweden has no fossil fuels whatsoever, fossil wells or gas wells, so we're dependent 100% of import of fossil fuels. But the thing I would like to draw your attention to is the orange line, which starts at about 70% and goes down to around 15-20% at the moment. And that's the share of fossil fuel in district heating. In Sweden, district heating is the general way of heating a building. So 95% of all buildings in all municipalities are connected to the grid of district heating. And to improve that even more, we want to go to 0% fossil fuel in district heating. We've worked a lot with the US Green Building Council to make it possible in LEED to force the district heating companies to go even further. And we've had great success now by doing that. I've talked about different certification schemes, and these are the 4 systems we use in Sweden. The Miljöbyggnad is the Swedish one, and the BREEAM and LEED and Green Building, which is a European energy performance program. So they are quite different, and I will not go into detail on this, but as you can see, the Miljöbyggnad, the Swedish certification system, is not as comprehensive as for instance, BREEAM and LEED, which have many, many more aspects involved. But still, the Swedish system is a rocket in Sweden. We're having lots